Shadows of the Forest. In a small town on the outskirts of Maine, four friends, Max, Harper, Jake, and Lily, decided to make enough their last summer nights unforgettable. They had heard a legend about a mysterious stone ark hidden deep in the forest. Rumor had it that at night, the Shadow Watchers, enigmatic creatures guarding an ancient secret, would appear around it. Max, a thrill seeker, proposed visiting Tharch to prove with legends or just stories. Harper hesitated but didn't want to seem cowardly. Jake and Lily, despite their knees, went along with the plan. Grabbing flashlights, a map, and some snacks, they stopped in the woods. Chapter 1. They started off the night like they left Max's house around midnight. The forest seemed peaceful, but soon everything began to change. A fog crept along the ground, and the trees loomed like giants stretching their branches toward them. "Are you sure you know the way?" Harper asked, trying to hide her uneasiness. "Of course. We'll hit the old trail soon," Max replied confidently. But a quickly became clear that something was wrong. The trail disappeared, and the trees all looked the same. Suddenly, Jake stopped. "What was that?" he whispered, listening closely. From deep in the forest came a raspy breathing, growing louder and closer. "Probably an animal," Max sighed uncertainly. But the breathing was accompanied by faint whispers, voices calling their names and beyond. Chapter 2. Shifting shadows. An hour later, they realized that they were lost. The map was useless, and the compass needle spun wildly. "What the hell?" Jake muttered. The shadows of the trees began to stretch unnaturally, as if alive. Harper noticed enormous footprints on the ground, human-like, but far larger. "How left is it?" she asked. The answer came in the form of snapping branches. Something was moving nearby. Max raised his flashlight, catching a glimpse of a figure made entirely of tinsifo. "Run!" he shouted. Chapter 3. Lost souls. They ran, but the forest seemed to shift around them. The trees glared with empties, the trail vanished, and their flashlights flickered. Suddenly, Lily felt her feet sink into the ground. "Help him!" she screamed as black hands emerged from the earth, trying to pull her down. Max rushed to her, managing to free her with great effort. Black marks were left in her legs, as though something had tried to claim her. "This place, it's alive," Lily whispered. Around them, the whispers grew louder, Uden to long hair. Chapter 4. The haunted house. They stumbled upon a clearing with an old house standing in the center. A faint light flickered in its windows. "We shouldn't join there," Harper said. "We didn't have a choice," Max replied. Inside, the house was empty except for walls covered in mirrors. But the mirrors didn't reflect them. Instead, they showed distorted, malevolent versions of themselves. Lily noticed their reflection slowly turning its shade over another. "That's not us," she whispered. Suddenly, one of the mirrors cracked, and a skeletal hand emerged. The figures in the mirrors began to crawl out, forcing their friends to flee, but the door slammed shut behind them. Chapter 5. Tharch. At last, they found the stone arch. Symbol sonic glowed with a bloody red light, and around it moved the Shadow Watchers, creatures of mist with long claws. "You broketh Ben," a deep voice thundered. The shadows surrounded them, freezing them in place with fear. "What do we do?" Jake shouted. "We have to destroy Tharch." Max sealed. Chapter 6. The battle with shadows. Max grabbed a rock and struck Tharch. The Watchers advanced, with Harper shone her flashlight at Tone, making it disappear with a scream. Jake and Lily tried to distract the others, but the shadows grew stronger. Max struck Tharch again, causing the symbols to flicker. The ground trembled, and trees began to fall. "One more time," Harper shouted. The final blow shattered Red Tharch. A deafening scream echoed, and the forest plunged into complete darkness. Chapter 7. The Aftermath. They woke in the edge of the forest under the morning sun. Harper and Max were alone. "Where are Jake and Lily?" Harper asked, trembling. Max said nothing. The forest looked normal, but something felt off. A week later, Max began to see their faces in mirrors. They whispered, "You should have saved us." Now I knew the forest never lets go of its guests. Chapter 8. The staircase to nowhere. After Tharch's destruction, the forest began to change. The shadows faded, butaneri weight lingering there. Harper and Max continued walking, trying to find an exit, but the forest unless he met close in on them. This material, Harper said, trying to make sense of it all. We survived. We destroyed Tharch. We freed them. But Max was silent. Deep down, he felt something was wrong. Their actions might have unleashed something for older and more terrifying than the shadows. Suddenly, they spotted a strange sight on the horizon, a towering staircase leading into the sky. Do you see that? Harper asked, pointing at the staircase. Max nodded, horrified. This place won't let us go. We had to destroy that staircase too, he said, his voice resolute but laced with fear. The staircase spiraled upward endlessly, with no visible start or end, like something out of a nightmare. Chapter 9, Ghosts in the Mirror at last. Max and Harper found what seemed like an exit. As they stepped out of the forest, strange things began happening again. In the mirror, Max saw it candidly. This time, they weren't whispering. They stared at them with hollow, lifeless eyes, their lips moving as thought calling him back. You should have saved us, a voice said. But it wasn't theirs. It was the same cold, malevolent voice that they had heard in the forest. Max turned, searching for the source of the voice, but she candidly were nowhere to be found. The forest seemed to twist again. He realized that this place would never truly thing. We can stay here, Harper said, sensing the forest pulling them back. But it was too late. The forest began to reclaim them. Chapter 10, The Trap of Eternity. Despite Tharch's destruction, it reappeared before them, whole again. It seemed to be waiting for their return. Around it stood the Shadow Watchers, their forms even more incomprehensible, blending with the mist. Max and Harper realized they were no part of an endless cycle. They couldn't simply leave this world, the forest had claimed them. All they could do was fulfill their role in its ancient story. We can't escape, Max said. We were back, and now we're just like those who came before us. The shadow stepped closer, and the friends vanished, leaving the clearing empty. The forest, as always, was ready for the next brave soul's watered taunter.